Oh, hi guys, we're getting started. Hi, I'm Chance Barnett. This is not the Chance panel, but that's nice of everyone. This is the family office's perspective on investing in cryptocurrencies and ICOs. And we have an incredible panel of people, so grab your seats. I'm Chance Barnett, co-founder of CoinCircle. We do end-to-end solutions for mature post-Series A companies. Coin design, coin engineering, finance, marketing, token sales. I'm also the founder and CEO of crowdfunder.com. Started that getting involved in the Jobs Act, and we're an equity investment platform. And I'm really excited. I also, over the last several years, became an advisor to a family office, the Haas Portman family office. And I helped them with early stage investments. And through that and through a lot of other great relationships, I've met a whole host of really incredible family offices. So what we have today, I'll allow them to introduce themselves because I could not do them justice. Some incredible people that you're going to hear from about how they are looking at and participating in token sales. And we also have a VC who used to be at a family office, so she might or might not share some secrets. So would you mind introducing yourself first, Kavita?
Thank you, Chance. So 2 points. Chance actually doing so much that he was not even able to say 5% of what all he has been doing. But anyways, it's not your panel, so I'm not giving back to that to you. Hi guys, my name is Kavita. I am the founding managing partner of Consensus Ventures, which is the venture arm for investing into ethereal blockchain companies from Consensus. We are investing in pre-seed, seed stage equity rounds, and doing a lot of pre-sales token. It's also the way we have structured. It's also one of the first VC hedge fund because we have a liquidity desk internally to manage our positions on tokens, both short-term and long-term. Before this, I was working at Eric Schmidt Family Office on various investments. And I am really here excited to speak with all our other panelists. And also, if there are any good ideas, entrepreneurs in the room, please do find me later. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sam Englebardt. I work at Galaxy Investment Partners and manage our private investments, which includes traditional venture capital and blockchain crypto investments and a variety of later stage investments as well. I've been investing in media and entertainment originally for a long time and mostly more in private equity, and then over the last 5 years have been transitioning increasingly to earlier stage venture and now almost exclusively in blockchain and crypto.
My name is Peets. I'm the Chief Risk Officer of Passport Capital, but more recently leading our initiatives in cryptocurrency. Passport's a unique organization in the sense we're a hedge fund with a 17-year track record, long-short equity, macro thematic. Our founder likes to say we invest in things that have never happened before, and so you can see why we're focused on cryptocurrencies now. But in addition to our hedge fund business, which is a kind of institutional fiduciary, we have a large family office that does seed and Series A investing, and also a foundation that does fund investing, and like I said, leading up our initiatives now in blockchain technology.
How are you? I'm Reid. I'm with the Arista Group. It's a Portuguese and Greek shipping-based family bringing LNG-fired ships to the world, so some cool environmental impact there. My background's really fintech and brokerage, investment management. So at Arista, we got goose egg right now in anything to do with blockchain or crypto.
Good. Well, we want all perspectives on this panel, including goose eggs, so that's fine. We'll take it, Alan. Thank you. So, look, there's been this incredible meteoric rise. That's part of why everyone's here in development, investment in the blockchain. The market cap of cryptocurrencies has risen from what was $7 billion in January of 2016 to $155 billion today, although it was 130 a couple weeks ago. Always a fun ride. Those kind of returns are attracting family offices and larger investors. Over the last 30 years, you've also seen family offices become a lot more active and play a really significant role in early stage venture, not just investing in funds, but investing directly in deals. So I really want to start off by saying, family offices are not yet, if you think about the larger market, in this market. Are they going to come in? When are they coming in? You guys are early. You guys are innovators. You're doing really amazing stuff at yours. What do you think is the larger market sentiment out there? Do they have a sense of what's really happening here? family offices in general? Sam, I'm going to call on you first.
Well, I guess I don't know that I represent the typical family office situation because
You don't.
I don't represent the typical family office situation. So I work for a guy named Mike Novogratz, who has been long before he started investing in crypto, was one of the kind of legendary global macro investors and speculators, and a guy who made his career venturing into risky and uncertain waters. And he was his case is interesting because he built a couple of different times very large institutional investment businesses, including co-founding Fortress and taking that through the IPO. And he was also prescient enough to see back in 2011 what was on the horizon with Bitcoin initially and crypto more generally. So when I joined him, we already had a very large business investing in cryptos. At the time, the ICO thing wasn't what it is now, but I never had to convince anybody to play in cryptos. And in fact, it was because he was already such a large investor in the space and so excited and passionate about it and wanting to build big things that I went and moved from LA to New York to join him. So, I think that from my perspective, I still believe there are a lot of reasons why family offices are an ideal platform from which to invest in the space. I think generally family offices have a long time horizon. I think that's very important in this space. I also think that any of us that are currently investing in it know that it's a messy world out there still, and in order to do this well now, you've got to be willing to, most likely you're doing things that you may not feel comfortable doing just yet with institutional money or feel that you can do. So you've got to be able to move fast and be nimble and take risks that it's tough to do when it's not your capital. So family offices, I think, are really, for right now, are a really important entry point as we move from individuals managing and investing off their, relatively small PAs to a somewhat more institutionalized form of investment vehicle in the family office. And I think now what we as family offices need to do is think about how to create that next layer of institutional credibility so that we can then move out into managed funds and other things where you're responsible for other people's capital outside of your own.
Yeah, Chance, I'd say it's all about passion. And the cool thing about family offices is everyone's going to be different, right? It's not like an endowment or foundation where they've got very strict fiduciary standards, but where the passion is. So I worked with a family partnered that they built a little museum over the 405 not too long ago. But they had passion around this. So in '97, we were talking about creating new currencies. We missed the blockchain part, but the point there is there was passion around economics, and so that's the cool thing. You get a family member engaged, they'll be able to, and family offices, many of which are in the multi-billion-dollar pools of assets. You don't need the $1 billion, right? And for them, that little spark, they'll have that opportunity to play there. But it's sort of out of their growth capital. So it's important to sort of think about it and position with a family office and a member that's got real passion in the space, like you got.
I guess the only thing I'd add to that, we're building a platform that enables family offices and institutions to invest in that space. So we kind of have a gauge of where they're at, and I think it's only really the most forward-thinking family offices that have started to allocate. They have the convenience of duration. They don't have the same fiduciary responsibility because at the end of the day it's their own money, so they're not worried about getting fired relative to a board. They can take operational risk that others can't. But even in that cohort, I think there's only still a few family offices, again, that are very forward-thinking or that are allocated, and we're just now starting to see kind of an inflection point for them to get involved.
So what do you see the potential for family offices, seeing that you're focused on that, for them coming in the market? A lot of people are talking about the potential upside in the larger cryptocurrency market because we haven't seen a significant amount of institutional participation. Do you see a lot of potential for the market growth because of that? And where do you think that might come from?
I'll first talk about my experience on the other side with the family offices. I think patient capital family offices are very US or European bounded. I'm getting a lot of interest from Middle East, South America, and South Asian family offices who understand that the way our fund is constructed, which is just 3 + 2 years, is basically matches the short-term capital which they usually invest in infrastructure projects or growth stage companies where they want them to get acquired or IPO very quickly, and they want their money turnaround and their whatever excess returns over next 3 to maximum 5 or 6 years. So we are getting a lot of interest from them to be LP or to invest alongside. I think coming back to your second question, we are not seeing the institutional investors because we are still waiting for a lot of security regulations and rules to work out in this industry. But because of big family offices moving and co-investing together, like some of your offices, and especially international Singapore-based family offices, which is already moving like hundreds of millions of dollars on the co-investment deals. For an example, I'm looking at one deal, and before I could even go out with to syndicate it with my other friends in US, I have 2 other offices in Singapore, which is taking the full position. So I think there's a lot of movement, and it's very revolutionary in a way that this is the first time a technology is actually getting so much acceleration and so much market capital because of family offices. So the strength of family offices is actually a leader in this case instead of a follower, which has been in the history.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point because generally with family offices, you're kind of always looking for your edge, right? You're usually not managing enough capital to compete with institutional private equity firms or venture firms. I mean, except for the very few. And yeah, this is absolutely an opportunity in an asset class for family offices to really have an edge.
So let's jump right to some of the questions everyone is hoping we might ask of you, which is, what are you looking to invest in? And I also want to explore, as a family office, how are you actually thinking about investing in ICOs and cryptocurrencies? Where does it come from? How is it allocated out of the portfolio? And how is it held? I think those are all much bigger questions than the average kind of individual investor.
I guess for us, in terms of how we think about investing in ICOs, I think it's very much how we think about investing in venture, in terms of the things that we're focusing on a given deal. So, I think Spencer was up here talking earlier, talking about the team, but does the market already exist? Is a digital currency a natural fit? So, Opskins, which is talking like they're already, accustomed to trading digital assets. So there's attributes like that I think you can evaluate, ICO companies on. I think with that said, from an asset allocation perspective, that's still going to be a very small portion of our portfolio, given the speculative nature, the high valuations that you're seeing now, and just how early you are in the market. From a perspective of risk manager, like it's a great asset class because it has very low correlation to anything else that's in our portfolio. We look at it and analyze it that way because that's how institutions view it. But it's still then just kind of how we size it relative to the rest of our portfolio. That's still relatively small. Not like the Novogratz family here, but that's kind of how we're reviewing it.
I'd almost look at it twofold, right? One is like in a private equity type of investment, right? High growth. And the other side of the coin is don't lose track of where flows have been rumored to come from, like money leaving China, right? So you start thinking about multiple South American countries. Greece is a great example that the Panagopoulos deal with, is that when the currency starts dissipating and you're looking for a way out, in other words, crypto offers a lot of opportunities for functionality aside from speculation, if you will. So there's twofold, I think, that families are, and I think what you'll see is should we have volatility in the geopolitical world and currencies getting hit, I think that's when you'll see major movements into crypto, which aside from just speculation.
Kavita?
I think very interesting, one of the points which I want to pick up, which Alan just said, is we don't invest in crypto, but between tokens and equities, it has actually changed the market like 180-degree turn. So if you want good growth numbers, you actually just invest in tokens because you know within 3 to 6 months, you're at least going to have 2x. In most of the cases, till the bubble exists at least, right? And then long-term investment, which is the traditional route of investing in pre-seed and seed, and then expect 3x to 5x return over the time the company grows and go to IPO or the valuation goes, is actually not much of the preference mood in the market. Said that, at least at Consensus, we want to invest into companies coming from the same traditional background where we want to hold either their equities or tokens in a long-term capital. Definitely want to help build up the ecosystem. But we also see that if we are taking LPs and having that fiduciary duty to LPs, we can turn around a lot of small amount of every company's tokens to have a sort of either liquidity or quick turnaround for the LPs. So this market has completely changed the way traditional investors have looked at with respect to profitability or with respect to patients' capital usage. And by the way, because we come from Consensus, because of our founder, I think Ether is only currency which we flow all the way.
I was going to add that. I was
I
saying,
just had to plug in.
as long as there are ERC20 tokens being created and sold and liquidated, then it's all
Absolutely.
fine. Yes, of course. So I want to throw out a different angle to you guys. I personally believe in at CoinCircle, a portion of what we're building over time when we design and engineer and sell tokens, we want to focus a significant portion of our overall portfolio on impact-related, impact-focused opportunities. Where do you see the most interesting social and economic impact being possible with blockchain, decentralization, and tokenization? I want you to answer this question first, for so many reasons.
I was trying to avoid. So, as you know, I come from a deep impact investment background. Last 15 years, knowingly or unknowingly, even before the terminology was coined at the World Bank and IFC, that's what I've been doing in Africa, Middle East, and Asia. I think one of the reasons I was very, very happy and deep about jumping from Eric Schmidt and Larry Page to doing this ventures at Consensus, working with Joe, is the basis of blockchain for me is deep impact. You take that platform, irrespective of what blockchain you support, what platform you support, but you take that platform and put it into health supplies. All your data is now accessible. I can take my mom's record from one doctor to another doctor and can actually get the same care with like 3 eyes verifying on it. I put it on a fintech remittance platform, and I'm taking care of people who are working hard to send money back to their families in different countries, take the transaction cost down to 0.01% and the timing to half an hour. I take this platform to refugees in the identity platform and help actually saving someone's emotional credibility out there. So from education to water to solar energy, for me, blockchain is actually the base for any sector impact. So before going too deep and emotional into it, I'll basically turn that question around.
Well, I mean, our family office also has a very deep focus on social impact. And again, Mike's sister, Jacqueline, runs the Acumen Fund. His brother-in-law is Chris Anderson, who founded TED. I mean, this is something that's very important to us and a focus of ours in a big way. So I think we've talked a lot already over the last couple of days about the various ways that the blockchain and the projects that all of you are working on can create that level of impact, and I think that's all very real. I think likewise, you sort of like bringing the telescope in a little bit. I think one of the most exciting things about the space and in terms of impact is what I've seen in terms of the impact that it has on the people who are participating in the blockchain space themselves now, not necessarily the impact the projects are having on the people who are using the technology or on the receiving end of it, but just what I've seen in the several years now that I've been getting involved with it in terms of impact on how people are appreciating themselves and their lives and the lives of everybody around them. I've never seen a community grow like this fast and in such a meaningful way, and I think it's because there's this sense of pride in building something. And actually, like, Brock already used all my slides from Burning Man, so I'm so I'm not going to show those. No, but I really believe that. I think like this is an opportunity right now where people are engaging in something, and they wake up excited to go do it, and they go to bed excited to wake up again the next day, and that's rare, and it's especially rare in like the investment community. So I think we have to pay attention to the impact we're having on our own lives together, and out of that, a lot of great things are going to come.
And I would agree on the zero-sum nature of what we're doing, and it's a lot more collaborative than traditional venture investing. And I also like the social impact of that. The higher the price of Bitcoin goes, the more crazy and awesome Brock's outfits get. That's one of my favorite.
Oh my God!
But the one thing
All
I'm
of
just going
ours,
to
I
jump
think.
in and say is we like to think that our world's so perfect today, but you know, I'm from Northern California. People don't even know, like, are their properties burnt? Are their neighbors alive? Why? Because it's all paper, right? And in other words, those records are gone. So even today, in the world's most advanced environment, we don't know, right? Fires are going on. So just think about how that affects in other worlds, but also how fragile our environment is and what the value proposition blockchain can bring.
So we're almost out of time. A final, much narrower lens question: how are you looking at the ICO market? How are you finding out of great deals? What do you like that you're seeing in the market?
Well, so I think coming in sourcing deals, I think is an interesting question, and just touching on the global nature of it. I mean, certainly events like this, you hear a lot of cool, interesting ideas. I think one thing that's fascinating about this space, coming from San Francisco, is that there's so much going on outside of Silicon Valley. So in terms of finding new ideas, we've been traveling a lot, spending a lot of time in Zug, in Berlin, in London. I kind of went through some of the characteristics of stuff that I like earlier, so I'll give others the opportunity. But
Damn, I'm calling on you.
what deals is Coin Circle doing right now?
Lots. I'll send you one. We're just wrapping up Unicoin Gold, by the way. Thanks for the plug.
Yeah. There's a deal. There's this wax deal out there that I like a lot. No, I think there's great deals out there. I think that we should all be cautiously optimistic about the ICO market going forward. I think that it's, the pendulum does feel like it's swinging a little bit to me back to a bit more rational level in terms of money being raised and what investors should expect for the risk they're taking, and what entrepreneurs should ask for, and as they go out. And I think that's a good thing. I think that regulation, as it comes on and we start to understand more clearly what can and can't be done, I think that's all a good thing. And we should just get comfortable with that, and with this is going to be an iterative process, and levels are going to get set as we go. And there's a great opportunity for everybody out there. I think if you hold on to the mentality that this idea that we really are trying to build something that's a win-win situation for everybody around. So
I think with consensus, we are very lucky. The place where we sit, we see really broad range of deals coming our way. We have companies which have amazing ideas and execution power. We can provide them technology. We have companies which directly come only for VC. But at the same time, we have a token foundry where we can take any of the ideas and launch the tokens, like Vax, something we are looking at. And our in-house spokes, we have more than 20 in-house companies, joint ventures, I should say, actually, which are also creating both the protocol layer or very big infrastructure projects. I have to do this plug-in. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get my money otherwise. I have to plug in about Uport, which is already presented here. Infura and Gnosis, some of the companies which are completely changing the game, how blockchain infrastructure is going to build up. So I think, but said that, certainly being here at a lot of different events and credible events really help us to get stay connected with the entrepreneurs and learn more about what's happening in the ecosystem.
It's just one observation is we're seeing a lot more, mature and developed companies starting to enter the ecosystem. And so in terms of flow of ideas, we've certainly seen a lot of our portfolio companies in the VC space, like contemplating, adapting a token model. And in some cases, that makes a tremendous amount of sense. In other cases, it feels kind of like a square peg going in a round hole and identifying an opportunity for raising, non-dilutive capital. So I think so long as people are being intellectually honest and, adapting a token model that actually makes sense for their business, you're getting a lot of very experienced, entrepreneurs and teams now coming in, and that's providing a lot of interesting
I
opportunities.
hear some people making a good business model out of that. Yeah. Alan, anything else?
I just have one more thing to add, actually. The new trend which I'm seeing is really established companies now adding blockchain on their technology and starting a complete new trend of token sales and having a different technology layer to it. Like 2 or 3 companies I'm right now looking, they are all already multi-million revenue dollar companies. But now they're adding another layer of blockchain technologies in it.
So I'd like to just go real quickly back. I know we got to end, but as the old guy on the panel, I remember the days when I was at Morgan Stanley and they almost fired me for using a thing called email. It was like, what is that? And so the reality is life's changing a lot faster. And the cool thing is regulation is here. And what we need, I think the great thing is as we evolve, as this space evolves, there's going to be an opportunity for regulation, and then there's a leadership role there. So I just encourage everybody to reach out, embrace, help, as that evolves, because that's when we get to the prime time. I remember they used to call him, they'd say he's giving whiskey to the Indians, right? How dare this guy use email? Well, it's the same thing today, right? We're hearing the grandfathers, the Jamie Dimons saying oh, this thing doesn't work. Well, it's because he hasn't opened his eyes yet. So I think the big thing for us is to help reach out and let the rest of the world know what's happening.
Great. Thanks for your time, everyone. Thank you.